Megan Fenyo presents I Am Enough TV. Be your best self. Awaken the power within you. Transform your life completely through the power of ultimately believing you are enough. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of I Am Enough TV. I am your host, Megan Fenyo, and I am joined today by a fellow blonde bombshell all the way from Las Vegas, Nevada, Galit Ventura Rozen. Thank you so much for joining us today, Galit.
Hi, Megan. Thank you for having me.
Love having you. You have been on the Blonde Bombshell podcast, and this is actually a redo for this show because I recorded it wrong. So thank you for coming back to join us today. We always like to ask my famous question, which is, what does it mean for you to be enough?
What does it mean for me to be enough?
Yes. For
me, it means accepting myself with all my quirky, crazy habits, way that I speak, mistakes that I made, successes, failures, and everything in between.
Oh, I love that. And you are doing some amazing things with kind of the same message of being enough. And we're going to jump into that in a little bit. But share with us your story and how you moved from struggles in your life into your strength.
Absolutely. A lot of trial and error.
Yes.
A lot of failures. People don't usually want to hear that, Megan. They want to hear, oh yeah, it was so easy. And no, a lot of trial and errors, a lot of failure, and then of course a lot of successes too.
Yes.
But for me, my story is that I chose at a very young age to not want to be somebody's employee. I just knew I was not going to be good at taking direction. And that kind of sounds funny probably because we spend our whole life when we're in school from a young age taking direction, which I was really good at. I wasn't that troubled kid. I listened, I followed directions, I did what I was told. But my story really is that I decided that I wanted to be my own boss and do things my own way. And from a young age, I started my first company, Commercial Professionals, which is a commercial real estate company. And then I went ahead a few years ago and decided that I wanted to show women how to be enough, but also be the best version of themselves. For me, I say a lot of that.
I love that. And you and I met actually on Facebook. We've never met in person.
Even though it feels like we have.
I know we have, but I'm going to be doing a TED Talk there. It was supposed to be in May, but now with the coronavirus, it's gotten moved to October. So maybe I can meet you in person then.
You will, for sure.
But I know we met on Facebook, and you are such an inspiration. You are doing so many amazing things for women all over the world. But share your story, one of the struggles that you've had in your life, and really kind of the profound, I know you've shared it on our podcast, but kind of the profound nature of one of the struggles that you've been through and really how you're using that to help other people.
It's quite interesting because until a few years ago, I never looked at my struggle as a struggle.
Yeah.
And then one day I was speaking to somebody, and I don't remember who, and they said, well, what are the challenges you've gone through? And I started telling them my story, and they actually pulled it out and said, don't you recognize that's a struggle? And I said, I never really looked at it that way. I just felt like it was part of my journey. But one of my struggles that I like to share that people don't always know about is when I was really young, at the age of 7, I actually lost my voice for 5 years. And the voice that I have today is not the voice that I was born with. And people go, what do you mean? Well, I have a nodule on one of my vocal cords. But pretty much these are your vocal cords, and I have a little bump. So whenever my vocal cords hit, this is what you get out. And basically from the age of 7 to 13, I was pulled out of class every week, multiple times a week, to go to speech therapy, which, it's so much fun in school to be different. not.
Yep.
And
I know
these,
all too
oh
well
my
about
God,
that.
is
All
that,
too well.
it is not fun.
It's not.
And one day when I was 13, while we were doing some vocal exercises, I remember it like yesterday, my speech therapist said, stop. And I said, what? She goes, talk at that voice. And I spoke, and then I remember her words. It said, that'll do. And it was so interesting to me because through that journey of doctors and trying to figure out what was wrong with me, because again, there was something wrong with me, I was asked often, what did I do? Like I did something wrong. It was my fault. I screamed too loud or I strained my vocal cords when I never did anything but just be a normal 7-year-old. And the most interesting thing about that story is that the doctor wanted to perform surgery when I was 16. And I went into that appointment after every year checking in to make sure, God forbid, there was no growth or nothing that was dangerous or could be cancer or all of that. Thankfully, nothing. It stayed the same, the growth. They actually asked me and I said no. And they were in shock because God forbid I didn't want to be like everybody else and have this normal voice that didn't crack when I got nervous and go into my chest when I spoke. And sometimes I lost my voice again over the years. And I said, this voice has defined who I am. People know me when I walk up from behind them now. When I call someone right away, they know it's me.
Yep.
So I think for me, the biggest way that I've gotten over that challenge and that struggle, Megan, is that now I speak on stages when my biggest fear was speaking up on the first day of class. When the teacher called my name, I would lose my voice and air would come out. So I did my dangdest to stay out of the spotlight, stay off the stage, not be in front of people. And of course, as it will be, ironically, my path has been. So it's so funny because the other day I had a conversation with my mom. I said, did I ever say I wanted to be a speaker when I grew up? She's like, no, you never ever wanted to speak up in front of a crowd, in front of people. You hid.
Isn't that crazy? Like, I have a learning disability. I have an 8th grade reading level and an 8th grade math level. And I remember the anxiety that I would get like in school getting called on, and I'd have to leave to go to the resource room. And I also had speech therapy. I couldn't say my R's and my S's. And I remember my guidance counselor in high school told me I should never go to college because I wasn't going to graduate college. And little did I know that that was something that was going to motivate me to prove him and myself wrong. But still, never in a million years did I think, that I would be, where I'm at today, a licensed therapist, a best-selling author, and then speaking, right? Because you're right. Like I don't have the big vocabulary of like really smart words that I say, that kind of stuff. And it's just so funny, but it truly proves the point of when you literally step into the one thing that you're supposed to do in this life, it doesn't matter. And you get this confidence that is unwavering. And it could be anything in your life. And so share with us a little bit about how you were able to step into that. Like, was there a defining moment of like when you decided you were going to speak on stages, or did it just kind of like happen and you didn't even think about it? Or was there a defining moment?
For many people, we don't pay attention to the things that show up. We get into this almost kind of matrix of life and routines. By the way, I love routines. I love things like that. And I don't think they're bad. I just think we get very comfortable. Yes. So seriously, what happened to me, and Megan and I have a lot of similarities in our path, is I went back to school when I was 38 to get my therapy license because I really believed I was supposed to be a therapist and that's how I was supposed to help people. And I started practicing therapy part-time while running my commercial real estate business. And something said, no, you're supposed to do more. So now I'm practicing therapy as well as all of a sudden holding workshops for women. And it was about 25 people, Megan, so it was very controlled, which was still more comfortable, 3 hours at a time, teaching, sharing, and so on. And when I started doing that and I saw that it was effortlessly coming to fruition and people were showing up and wanting to pay to come, I was like, okay, I'm supposed to do this. Because sometimes when things are easy like that, it's a sign. But the next piece was all of a sudden out of nowhere, someone asks me, hey, Galit, do you want to come speak to a group of women? We're doing a small event. And it was called something like Wine, Women, and Wealth. And one
That's
was
my kind of event. You got some
Yes.
wine in there. That's what I'm
Yes, so
talking
they
about.
served wine. They had an attorney that spoke about finances and a financial advisor, and they wanted me to come in and talk about something that empowered women. So that's really how it started. I don't think there was like this aha moment. I think it was more of me getting over myself. I mean, that's seriously the issue is me getting over myself and my fears and recognizing that it was so much more than me and it really didn't have anything to do with me. And that was really my defining moment when I kind of embraced the idea that it wasn't really about messing up or being nervous or forgetting what I was saying or making mistakes. It was really about the fact that there was something that I was supposed to share, and I better share it because that's what I'm supposed to do.
I love that.
Yeah.
So share with us a little bit about exactly what you do and to help women so that we can get a little to know a little bit more about your business savviness and what you're doing around the world.
Absolutely. So I'm in the last few years, probably about 4 now, I decided I wanted to show women it was possible to have it all. We live in a society where a lot of times people say something's got to give. I spoke in Montreal at a leadership conference I think it was last August. And it was everyday women, mothers, wives, women that worked, owned their own businesses. It was just all ages. And every time I spoke about my life, the response was something's got to give. You can't be a good mother and a good businesswoman and a good boss and a good wife or girlfriend or whatever you are, and you can't be a good philanthropist. You can't cook too. Yeah. I told them I cooked, and oh my God, and it was so interesting to me. So when I sat there, I realized, and I knew this years ago, that women sometimes feel like they have to choose, but that's not the truth. And what I do is I work with women in groups and in person, and a lot of my speaking engagements are really about what is it that you want? I mean, that's really the key. What do you want and how can you have it? And a lot of the people I work with are business women. They're either professionals or business women, and they really want to be successful in their career, as well as figure out how they can be successful within themselves.
I love that. What is one of the biggest pieces of advice or piece of advice that you can give a woman that may be feeling stuck? Like maybe they have that nudging feeling that there's meant for something more in their life and they're just kind of taken over by fear or the belief that they're not enough to have it all. What's a key piece of advice or a skill or something that you teach women on how to move past this?
Absolutely. So the first thing that I would suggest is we're not very good internally seeing our characteristics, our positivity, how awesome we are. We're not good at that. And typically when someone says you're amazing or wonderful or brilliant, you find a reason why you're not, and you make sure you tell them. So the first thing that I would suggest is you write down all the things that other people think about you, all the other things that people that love you say about you. And please only focus on the people that love you, because there's always going to be haters. It's just natural. And when you write down all the things that other people say about you, you're a great mom, you're a great businesswoman, you're a great leader, you're a great follower, you're a great team, whatever it might be, you're great at organizing. It doesn't matter what it is. You smile a lot, you're happy, you're positive. Write everything down. And I want that to be your mantra every day. But with the words, as Megan says, what words go in front of that, Megan?
I am enough.
I am enough. So you say, I am enough, and then you add, I am brilliant, I am beautiful, I am amazing, and you use that I am, and then you end it with, I am enough. And that is the first thing that I would suggest. Now, if you feel stuck, it's a little bit different.
Yes.
I've been there. Years ago, I remember having 3 kids under the age of 7, running a full-time business, being a wife, doing all the things that I was doing at the same time. And I would go to bed at night, and I actually wouldn't go to bed. I'd pass out. I would lay down, be completely and utterly exhausted because I gave everybody what they needed that day.
Yep.
I would get in bed and I would think to myself, there's got to be more. Now, that might sound silly because from the outside, it looked like I had a perfect life. Couldn't be more perfect than it was.
Yeah.
But I wasn't taking care of myself. And that is a stuck place. So what happens now is you wake up the next morning and you go into the same exact routine and then you pass out again. And then you go and you do it every single day. But something feels like it's missing. Something feels like you're stuck. So my advice to you, which is not easy, and it was not easy for me, and it opens up a whole can of worms, is you ask yourself, what do I want?
Mm-hmm.
And women don't do that enough.
We don't.
We're not good at it, just like we're not good at saying I am enough. We need to know what we want before we could have it. And then once you write down what you want, you must, more than anything, recognize that there will be resistance from others that love you. There will be resistance from those that want to hold you back. There will be resistance within yourself. And you've got to find a way to get it. And it's not something that you wake up in the morning and just change your entire life. That's not what I'm telling you to do.
Right.
Look at each aspect of your life. Ask yourself, does this make me happy? Do I want this? And then slowly start implementing small changes. And that in itself will cause a domino effect to you living a pure, genuine, and authentic life.
I love that. And the thing that kept coming up for me while you were talking was the word accountability. How does that play into what you were just saying? Like, what is the importance of having accountability partner, or like what I like to call a strength tribe in all of this? Like, how does someone have that accountability?
It's, first of all, it's everything. We can't see for ourselves what others can see for us.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that a lot. And then people are going, oh yeah, you're trying to get me to work with you. No, don't hire me. Go hire somebody else. Go find a mastermind. Go find a group. Go find an organization. I don't care. You cannot see for yourself what others can see for you. It's
Mm-hmm.
not the same. I do this for a living and I still ask other people to see it for me. Now, as you do the work, it gets easier to see it, but a lot of times you need and should have that support to get you through those stages. There's nothing like a community of people. There's nothing better in the world than a community of people, especially like-minded. Now, I do need to make something very clear. Many times when my clients start working with me, they've already prepped their mindset, they've already prepped themselves, and they're ready to go. And then a lot of times what happens is there's a group of people that they have in their lives that are not supporting that change. I've had clients that their friends have said to them, why do you have to work with somebody? Why do you want to open your own business? Why do you want to have a relationship? Why? And they say to me, I don't understand why they don't want the best for me. Mm-hmm. It's not always out of jealousy. It's not always out of not wanting the best for you. Sometimes it's out of people that love you wanting you to stay safe. They don't want you to fail. I've had some of the people that love me the most tell me not to do things. They're still in my life. I still love them. Do you know what I say to them? I'm okay if I fail. Exactly. It's okay if I learn on my path to success. And so I think sometimes people want to protect us because they think that if we fail, that is not something we would want. So just make it clear to them, I promise I'll take care of myself. I promise I'll be careful. Now, if they still are anti and negative, now you really want to start thinking twice about the people you're hanging out with.
Yeah. Accountability is so key, even if it's just one person, a friend, a mentor, a therapist, who, what have you. If you're feeling stuck and you really want to make those changes in your life and really start putting yourself first so that you can take care of others, yes. Accountability is so, so crucial. We have a few minutes left. There's never enough time on this show.
I know.
So share with us real quick some exciting stuff that you've got going on right now and how people can get in touch with you.
Absolutely. My newest project, because you know, Megan, it's never enough.
It's never.
When we start on our path, it just keeps happening. My newest project is called the Everyday Woman Community. And I'm so dang excited about it. And basically what this is a community for women to come in, just like Megan talked about, and to find support of like-minded women that want to see you rise to the best version of yourself. And that's really what we focus on. And you can check that out at everydaywoman.me. And then you can find me under my full name, Galit Ventura Rozen. I know it's long. Galit Ventura Rozen on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. My website is Galit Ventura Rozen, so it's quite easy to find a lot of the things that I offer.
I love it. We always like to close the show with asking, what is your favorite mantra or affirmation?
My favorite mantra or affirmation for myself is that I am the biggest obstacle standing in my way to limitless possibilities.
Oh, that's so powerful.
Yeah.
I love that. Did you create that or did you find that somewhere?
I did.
Oh, I love that. Can you say it one more time?
Yeah. And I'm saying it as myself.
Yep.
I am my biggest obstacle to having and creating limitless possibilities.
Wow. Amazing. Oh, Galit, it is always a pleasure when I get to have you on my shows. Thank you for all that you're doing in this world to inspire women and for just inspiring me.
Oh, thank you too, Megan. I absolutely adore you, and I'm so thankful that we've connected, and for everything that you do for your movement. I am enough.
Thank you so much. And I always like to end the show with my favorite quote, which is, you are enough just as you are, regardless of whatever season you're in. And the more you focus and celebrate on that, the more you will live in your strength. I Am Enough TV airs every Monday at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Easy Way TV. Or if you can't check it out then, you can always find the episodes on Apple TV, on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, or by downloading the Easy Way Network app on your Apple device. Be sure to grab some free resources and order your free I Am Enough cards at IamEnoughMovement.info. Thank you so much for joining us today on this episode. And always remember, in everything you do, be bold, be brave, be unapologetically you, because you are enough.